walking? All day?
All day.
Did you fly into Mexico and then walk the rest?
Walk.
But where did you fly into?
What?
Where did you fly into? What city?
Walking.
How do you walk from India? Are you from India too?
Pakistan.
Oh, Pakistan. Oh, Pakistan? Pakistan?
Bangladesh. Keep your mindset. Bangladesh.
Did you guys fly into Mexico and then walk in the rest of the way? Walk?
I told you, gang, that America is lying to us, right? They're saying that they walked, like I've been telling you, they walked from India and they walked from Pakistan. Now, if you look at the old map of Tartaria, and this is what I've been saying, right? This is India. This is East India, East Pakistan, right? So here is Bangladesh, because that guy said he's from Bangladesh. So within this area, like I've been telling you, you could literally walk to America. They have been lying to us about where these people are, where we are. This is why those immigrants were taking buses, not planes. They were driving, getting dropped off to America. Y'all need to wake up. And if you think I'm capping, it says Bangla right here, India, extra. So on the old maps, right, Bangladesh is here. They walked to America. We starting to wake up, building the wall. It went over your heads to realize that the geographical area that they're talking about is a lie. The wall is just to confuse you, to try to keep you locked into the lies that they've been telling you ever since grade school. Now you know why they keep sending your jobs to India and China, because they're right around the corner.
What's been going on with India? First we had them dudes that said they walked from India in 4 days on foot. They're saying that okay. And then we have this Air India crash that they said nothing on the plane worked. I feel like the universe trying to tell us something about India. What's tea? Okay, so the dudes that said they walked from India to here, basically, they walked from India to Mexico in 4 days on foot, and they said it's a walkable distance. And then people came out vouching, looking up the old maps of Tartaria, correct me if I said it wrong, and they said that it was possible back in the day when all the continents was connected, right? And then we just had this crash that people are calling foul play on, saying, oh, it don't make sense. Something else went on in the background, right? But then you have passengers that allegedly posted videos of everything malfunctioning in the plane prior to the incident. Then you got one survivor of the crash that said he jumped out the plane, and everybody's saying it's sus because his shirt didn't look tarnished. It was just like a little rib. He had a fresh white tee on, and his face was a little busted up. Now this is what got me. First of all, if this really did happen and everything went down, condolences to the families on that Air India plane, right? But on the interview, when they were interviewing a dude, literally hours after he jumped out the plane in this big explosion crash, right? He said, the lady was like, so you jumped out the plane while it was crashing? And he said, no, I walked out the plane. She said, yeah, you jumped out the plane when it crashed. He said, no, he said, I walked out the plane after it crashed. He walked out the emergency exit after the plane had already. Right. Then they said his seat was number 11. The crash was on the 11th. And the hospital bed that they showed him in on the news was, do you think there's foul play going on, or is India just getting a whole bunch of synchronicity from the universe? Y'all, we need to talk about this. This is crazy.
This is a problem with America, bro. I'm going to show you right now, because what the fuck? So I'm trying to look for taco shells, right? And I see this. Why the fuck do we have Cinnamon Toast Crunch taco shells?
Have you guys ever heard of the Forgotten Female Pope? This is like 800 AD conspiracy.
Okay.
So there was this girl, her name was Joan, and she was just a very intelligent girl and would study scripture, all this stuff. Women at this time, it was during the Dark Ages, so they were treated terribly. But Joan, so she disguised herself as a boy at age 12 to advance in academics and stuff like that. And she ended up joining a monastery and just was so brilliant theologically. It ends up becoming a cardinal.
Oh no!
And the Pope had died, and they ended up appointing her as Pope, and she went under the name Pope John Anglicus.
Did this chick Mulan herself and becoming the Pope?
But apparently, she ended up falling in love with a servant that worked in the Vatican. She conceived a child and gave birth during Mass. Everyone obviously freaked out, and the story goes that immediately she was stoned, killed, executed. To this day, the Vatican's like, that never happened. It's been erased from all church history.
They spoke about
But
this.
there was historians during this time, even the church historian for the Vatican wrote about it. Well, it would make sense that they would try to completely erase that, because to them, that looks bad on the Catholic Church in that time, because they appoint the next pope because it's like the ascension of like Peter. It's like the next Peter, the apostle. You know, they made the mistake of choosing a woman. I just thought that was insane.
That is crazy. I love that story.
A bloodline will just die out because they're infertile from so much inbreeding. And so they would just take a cadet family, one of the other branches, and they plug them in. And so it was the same bloodline, but if you look at the Habsburgs, they all have strawberry blonde hair. It's reddish blonde. And there's a Pope, Orsini, who had reddish blonde hair, and I think he was involved in the Habsburg line. Another one is Bill Clinton's mother, who was the illegitimate child of Winthrop Rockefeller, who was governor of Arkansas. That's why Clinton was president, and now Hillary Clinton. She's actually, her middle name was Rodham. I looked it up, and it was shortened from Brodowski, and she's from a Jewish family in Brodowski, Poland. They keep rebreeding the ancient stock. The chi in Italian, like
Medici.
Yeah, chi means the stock, the bloodline you're from, or the tribe. It means DNA is what it means, and it's always through the female. It's not through the male. It's through the female.
Switzerland is the head of the snake. This is the home of the World Economical Forum, CERN, Freemason lodges, and Rosicrucian influences. The second largest UN center after New York, UNESCO site with ancient knowledge, hosts WHO, UNHCR, ILO, WIPO organizations, the Red Cross, World Health Organization, World Trade Organization, the Gotthard Base Tunnel. Its strange opening ceremony full of occult symbolism has sparked speculation. Bergenstock Resort, an elite venue that holds secretive meetings, including Bilderberg, Glencore, a giant company linked to energy and mineral manipulation. Neutralist Swiss vaults and bunkers. Many are used by elites to store gold, art, data servers, and even DNA samples, famous for secrecy, offshore wealth storage, and being a safe haven for powerful global interests.
An investigation into its founder, Klaus Schwab, after receiving a letter by a whistleblower alleging misconduct by the former chairman. The announcement comes a day after Schwab said he was resigning as chairman effective immediately. At the time, he did not state a reason for his resignation. A spokesperson for the Schwab family said Klaus Schwab intends to file a lawsuit against the whistleblower.
I'll make a point of that's an investment criteria for you.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors. 54% of the incoming class are women. We added 4 more points in terms of diverse employment this year. And what we're doing internally is if you don't achieve these levels of impact, your compensation could be impacted, okay? We're doing
planets, and you believe that we're flying through the cosmos and spinning 1,000 miles per hour. You believe it all began with the Big Bang. Let's not forget simultaneously you believe we're wobbling. Axial precession. You don't believe he's setting the Earth on its foundations, never to be moved. And you don't believe the heavens declare the glory of God and the firmament shows his handiwork. Even though your eyes show this to be true, you believe in this because of things like this. The same thing goes with dinosaurs. You believe in dinosaurs because they put them on your pajamas as a kid. The Bible doesn't mention dinosaurs, but it mentions dinosaur-like creatures, such as dragons, the Leviathan. Yes, the dinosaur bones you see in museums are generally real fossils. They may often be a combination of original fossils, casts, or replicas. Sounds to me like they made up dinosaurs to discredit the Bible, but have a cover story in case you find a dragon bone. Yeah. So a combination of the public education system with Mr. I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers, as well as things like this on the playground. That's the beginning of the indoctrination and the push away from God.
They're saying that allegedly mermaids are a 5-star meal for the elite. And then you have people saying that if you're ever by water and you hear something calling and talking and inviting you to come and get in that water, you better not do it. And then somebody posts this shit. Look at this. Look at this shit right here. What is that? No, really. What is that right
nah. Throw a rock at it and see.
And this is one of the reasons why I stopped taking cruises. Stop going by deep water because you never know what's in that water. Some people say mermaids are like the Little Mermaid in the movie. And then some people say mermaids are demons. And they say the same thing about sirens. It's a lot of people that say that they seen mermaids in real life. It's a whole civilization of people that believe in them. Believe they're evil. And they're not the things that you see in the movie. The pretty face, the Ariel looking mermaid. They're not that. And they don't come for anything nice. If you jump down that mermaid rabbit hole, if you jump down the rabbit hole about sirens, that'll give you even more reason to stay away from those deep waters. Look at that shit. Tell me that's not some scary looking shit.
That's some scary looking shit.
You got some people saying it's AI. And you know what? It just might be.
World concert when those people lost their lives. People now talking about something. Oh, it's a ritual. Huh? Y'all now talking about this? That shit happened in like 2021. All his fans are saying that it was a ritual. But then you have niggas like me all the way back here talking about something. Bro, you telling me 8 people was deceased and 8 flames went up during the stage, during the performance? And then on top of that, somebody passed out and Travis Scott did not care? And then on top of that, his shirt showed happy people going into a portal and then turning red with devil horns? Like, you guys gotta be stupid at this point.
You still like Chris Brown shirt though.
It was right there in you guys' face. Talking about some see you on the other side. He made 8 people a sacrifice. And you guys are now talking about this. You guys wanted all these Travis Scott fans, all y'all wanted to be brainwashed. And now y'all watching the documentary and like, wait, no, this feels weird. What do you mean you was there and it didn't feel weird to you when you was getting piled up on and you couldn't breathe? Fuck out of here with that shit. Stop talking about it. I don't want to see this shit on my For You page no more. Y'all are some idiots, bro. I don't want to see it no more.
Cinemas or movie theatres are all sacred geometrically set up to harvest energy from the people. So when you have a horror movie or some of the extreme nasty movies that have been coming out over the last like 15, 20 years, the people in there, when people shot like that, the movie theatres are set up perfectly sacred geometrically to then harvest the energy straight from the people in there, in the same principle as any mass gathering.
Is truth hidden from us? I don't understand why we have to pay to live on a planet we were born on. You didn't sign a contract when you took your first breath. You didn't agree to rent space on Earth. So why does every part of survival, food, water, land, come with a price tag? And here's the real question. Who are we even paying? Who decided they owned the land, the water, the resources? Who stood up one day and said, this all belongs to me, and you owe me for existing? Water covers most of the planet, falls from the sky, and is essential for life. Yet somehow people are dying of thirst. Instead of wasting billions on war, we could build desalination plants and give fresh water to everyone. The technology exists, but do we use it? No, because if people could take care of themselves, they wouldn't be controlled. That's the truth. Scarcity is a lie. There's enough food, enough land, enough resources for everyone. But if people weren't desperate, governments, corporations, and banks would lose power. So they manufacture struggle. They make sure you're always working, always paying, always needing. You're not just paying to live, you're paying to stay in your cage.
The Earth is not what you have been taught to be. You have been lied to since childhood. Honestly, it's time to do your own research and ask questions. Don't just take anything at face value, yeah? Share this video to a friend. Watch out for more.
How many years and how many people done got through those borders? But this is not the only thing. Y'all got to think about it. A lot of sleeper cells got through too. Y'all remember when Ryan, on the Ryan show, when Sarah was on the Ryan show and she was speaking about the Al-Qaeda and how many of them that they train and they send them off to get through the U.S. and they just stay here for a living. Then y'all remember the lady that was in the Denver airport, and when she said something bigger is coming to the U.S., bigger than 9/11. Then y'all remember the protesting that's going on, the protests, the riots, all that's going on, right? Then the Israel and Iran situation with the back and forward missiles. That's a little recap. But y'all just let that sink in. Y'all just let that sink in. And TikTok, this is for entertainment purpose only. I'm only on here to bring awareness to my friends for education. Ciao, ciao.
As I said before, they banned my page. They're not burying everybody. Some of the cremations, they're giving people concrete. They have banned my page at 144,000 followers. And as if that wasn't enough, I got another page up to 5,000 and they banned that. I have no idea when they'll ban this one. But when they continue to try to silence somebody, just know that they're telling the truth. I've tried to tell you for over 65 days what's going on. I want to continue to here. I pray you'll follow me. I pray you'll give me a minute of your time, maybe 2 every day, to prove to you what's going on. Not just about funeral homes, but what's going on around you. To show you that we're in spiritual warfare. To show you that they're not burying all your loved ones. To show you that they're making a drug out of bones called Kush. Also to tell you about organ trafficking and a lot of other things. I pray you'll join me. Remember, investigate everything.
The Mahdi has appeared in order to invite people to a final covenant with God. And the Quran said, "We never punish until we have sent a messenger." And I am that messenger. I am a messenger to the Muslims from Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam. I am a messenger to the Christians from Jesus, the Son of Mary. I am inviting you to the 7th and final covenant between God and mankind. Accepting this covenant is the only thing that will save you from the punishment which is about to come down.
The only true test of intelligence is if you get what you want out of life. And there are 2 parts to that. Getting what you want, so you know how to get it. And the second is wanting the right things, knowing what to want in the first place. I could want to be a 6'8" basketball player and I'm not going to get that. So it's wanting the wrong thing.
If you're not careful, you can end up in a place in life, not only that you don't want to be, but one that you didn't even mean to get to.
A simple convenience, but beneath the interface lies the architecture of control, the modern mark that will determine who can buy, who can sell, who can participate in society itself. Your phone already carries the prototype, your digital wallet, your QR code vaccine record, your facial recognition unlock. Separate systems today, a single integrated control mechanism tomorrow. The architecture of a digital prison built with your consent. Each feature marketed as convenience, each function designed for control. This is not conspiracy. The same elites who gather at Davos speak openly about it. The same banks that control your mortgage design it. The same tech companies that track your movements build it. hidden in plain sight, assembled piece by piece, like a puzzle you're not meant to solve. The World Economic Forum's own documents state, digital ID will be the cornerstone of the fourth industrial revolution. Translation, your identity will be the access key to your existence. The public-private partnership is clear. Tech companies build the infrastructure. Financial institutions create the dependency. Governments mandate the adoption. Central bank digital currencies, programmable money with built-in control. Your currency will have an expiration date, spending restrictions, geographic limitations, behavior incentives. In China, digital yuan can be programmed to expire if not spent. In Nigeria, digital IDs determine access to banking, voting, and healthcare. In India, 1.2 billion people are enrolled in Aadhaar, leaving millions at risk of being excluded from essential services when the system fails. In Sweden, thousands have already accepted microchip implants for convenience. In Australia, digital ID legislation advances under the banner of security. In Canada, bank accounts were frozen with a keystroke during the trucker protests. The beta tests are running and the results are clear. The most perfect prison is one where the inmates cannot see the walls. The technical standards are being written without democratic input. The governance systems are designed to be immune to voter influence. The control mechanisms are implemented through unelected technocrats. The mark of the beast was never about supernatural evil. It was always about a system so complete, so inescapable, that none could resist its authority. Revelations 13:17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. When cash is eliminated, when physical ID is obsolete, when all essential services require digital verification, the system will be complete. The control grid operational. This is not speculation. This is not conspiracy. This is engineering. The infrastructure of control is being built around you in plain sight. The question isn't whether they are building the system. The question is whether they accept it.
Yes, I have.
What was that like? That our moon has an extremely stable orbit. No other moon in the solar system orbits its planet with as little deviation as our moon does. Yes.
Mercury and the moon are about the same size. Mercury might be a little bigger. However, Mercury has 4 times the mass of our moon. Wow. Same size, 4 times the mass. And we know it's rocky on the surface because they both have equal-looking features on the surface. So what's going on? Right. We know the moon has hardly any iron.
And so it appears there's something inside the moon stabilizing that orbit, which is also stabilizing the Earth, and for example, the craters on the moon. Why would a meteorite impact, produce a crater that's so much wider than it is deep, and then in the especially wide craters like Clavius, you see that the surface of that crater is convex? It's because it's hitting a hard shell that's underneath the regolith, and the regolith is like astroturf that's been put on the surface of that space station to make it look like it's a moon.
The equinox is not as stable as it is now.
There wasn't any. We didn't have seasons. That's a product of the moon. The equinox
is only because of the moon.
So this 23-degree deviation that we have between our equator and the celestial equator,
right,
that produces the equinoxes and the solstices as a function of the moon. Then, as we mentioned, these craters don't make any sense, right? These craters don't make any sense. And the basin of them seems like it's revealing a shell of some kind, a spherical shell.
Yep.
Then there's the impact tests, right? The Apollo 12 and Apollo 13, where the moon on a seismograph registered like a hollow object.
Right.
And by the way, there's no moon that's a hollow object. Back before Carl Sagan became such a skeptic, he even commented on this and said that it's terrifying because no natural satellite is hollow.
We know that no other moons are hollow?
Yes, we know it.
How do we know?
It's just not what moons are. Moons are like, they're like rocky bodies that are trapped by a planet. And they're rocky all the way through. The other thing about these moons are they're all weird shaped. They look like deformed potatoes, a lot of them. They're not beautiful spherical objects like ours.